Since I was born, I grew up under the care of my grandma, and only my grandma. My dad had to spend forever in his office every day, and my mother had to travel a lot due to the nature of her job. Therefore, my grandma was the only person that I could depend on. Yet I felt pretty uncomfortable living with her. She was a very demanding grandma and required me to follow many rules, most of which I still do not understand even today. Whenever I asked her why she is so strict to me, she always replied the way that many other Chinese parents would. I am doing it for your good, not mine. She was especially strict on the rules and schedules that I had to follow. For example, she would force me to go to bed at exactly 9:30, and there was absolutely no room for debate. Seeing my friends who could all still play Clash Royale past 9:30, I grew more and more jealous of the freedom that they had. My grandma also wanted to help me academically whenever she could, but the only subject that she could offer some help was Chinese. In my middle school Chinese class, I had to learn how to write characters, where my teacher would usually pronounce a word, and then I had to print all the corresponding characters with all the correct strokes. When my grandpa was preparing me for those quizzes, it was a comedy. In home and with her friends, she speaks the Shanghai dialect, which is very different from Mandarin. Therefore, her pronunciations with Mandarin were sometimes so off that I could not even understand what she was saying. Then, she would arrogantly accuse me and say that I had not been working hard enough to actually memorize how to print characters, leaving me perplexed and resigned. Once, she probably knew her pronunciation was so off that as soon as she said it, she started giggling due to embarrassment. So yeah, my grandma was certainly not the best Mandarin teacher that I could hope for, but she certainly tried her best. And more fortunately, due to her influence, I am able to speak the Shanghai dialect fluently today, which is something that I am very proud of and something that many of my friends are jealous about. My grandma valued health over everything. She would be the most enthusiastic audience for any TV programs that are about health. She could listen to those programs for entire afternoons. I couldn't be happier when she temporarily got her attention off of me, but she would soon start lecturing about what she learned and forced me to apply these lessons to my life. For example, she heard from somewhere that drinking 2 glasses of warm water every morning could decrease the chance of heart disease by 21%. Therefore, every morning, she made me drink 2 glasses of hot water before doing anything else. She also believed that after watching so many TV programs about health, she herself is a doctor. When I was feeling under the weather, she was always reluctant to bring me to the hospital. Even if I did end up in the hospital, she would not completely do what the doctor told. She had her own plans, and honestly, I don't even know how I survived to this day. On August 29, 2021, I traveled more than 7,000 miles from home to come here in Potsdam to start my high school career. I had been waiting for this moment for so long because I was finally able to disentangle myself from the controls of my grandma. At the airport, my grandma stood beside me as I waited to check my luggage. Unlike other days, when she would start to lecture about life lessons, she remained unusually quiet. Maybe she knew that I was old enough to take care of myself, or maybe this time she did not even know how to start. As I received my boarding pass, my dad, my mom, my grandma, and I walked to the security gate together. At the entrance, she put her arms around my shoulder and gave it a tight squeeze. I turned to her and said, "Okay, Grandma, I'm leaving." I could see tears starting to circle in her eyes, but she tried to hold them back and forced a warm smile. She said 2 words, "Take care." Her voice was broken, and she let go of her hand that had been resting on my shoulder. I said goodbye to my parents, gave them a quick hug, and walked hastily into the security gate without turning back, because for some reason, I was too afraid to see the face of my grandma again. As I waited patiently and anxiously at the boarding gate, moments of my childhood flashed through in my mind. I thought about the many fun moments that I spent with my friends, the many kind teachers in my middle school, and especially the many meaningful lessons I learned and moments that I shared with my grandma. The feeling of relief that I was anticipating could no longer be felt. Instead, it was replaced by a sense of emptiness or even a sense of guilt. I realized that for all that she had done for me, I simply took them for granted. I treated our intimate relationship as a necessity, but never fully appreciated the effort she took to maintain it with her unwavering love and care. And suddenly, a huge sense of guilt weighed down on me. I wondered why, in the 14 years that I had spent with her, I never let her know how much I appreciated her presence. I wondered why, in the many occasions that she sacrificed herself for me, she never complained a word. I wondered why a simple thank you never came out of my mouth. It was not just a thank you that was missing, but a deep appreciation and gratitude that my grandma truly deserved. The childhood anecdotes that I shared still vividly remain in my memory as if they happened just yesterday. As I grow more mature, the more I reflect on these experiences, the more I realize how these seemingly trivial and funny moments were manifestations of her constant, unwavering, and sometimes hard to recognize love. The sacrifices and devotions she made were acts of love that went unnoticed by me at the time, but now stand as the foundation of everything I am today. So now, here I am at the Hill School. There is no longer anyone who would make me drink 2 glasses of hot water every morning before doing anything else. There is no longer anyone forcing me to go to bed at 9:30 sharp. There is no longer anyone by my side who would recommend me to disregard what the doctors say. As a child, I did not understand the ways of my grandma, nor the amount of sacrifices that she had made. But now, I have come to see how much of an impact she has had on me as a character, and I finally understand what love truly means for her and for me. Love is not always expressed with words, but with actions. Love is the act of sacrificing oneself for another. Love is the willingness to do everything without needing anything or any gratitude in return. From my relationship and experience with my grandma, I realized that they have opened me to something deeply important: gratitude. Nowadays, with our busy schedules and the many expectations that we have to meet or exceed, it is easy to take for granted those people and things who truly mean a lot to us. We often overlook and fail to appreciate their support, love, and significance. At Hill, we aim to foster an environment where everyone is loved. We surround ourselves with the love of our friends, the support of our dorm mates, and the kindness of all faculty members. Therefore, it is crucial not to let these people and experiences go unnoticed. Gratitude is not just a feeling, but an action. It is the voluntary act of taking a moment to reflect, recognize, and express our genuine appreciation for everyone who has made an impact on our lives, big or small. As I pause and reflect on my own experience, I notice that there are so many things and people that I've not given enough attention to. On one hand, I regret not sharing my gratitude with them or not letting them know how much they mean to me earlier. But on the other hand, I am glad to have learned the lesson, and I am determined to carry this awareness forward in the many years to come, as I will appreciate the many people that I have met and the many more that I will meet in the future. Time never stops, so for everyone listening today, I urge you to pause and think of someone who has impacted you in one way or another. It may be a coach, a teacher, a family, a neighbor, a roommate, or a friend, or anyone who's important to you. Then, the next time when you have the opportunity, show your appreciation, express your heartfelt gratitude, acknowledge their presence, or simply say, "Thank you." Don't wait until it is too late to appreciate them for their kindness, for their impacts, for their support, and for how much they mean to you. Now, I want to take this opportunity to express some of my gratitude. I want to thank all my friends for the laughter, the joyful memories, and the profound happiness. I especially appreciate those who genuinely know me and have the ability to cheer me up through conversations. I want to thank that person in Canada who has supported me in all that I have done. I want to thank all my teachers for the guidance, wisdom, and the lessons that nourished my learning experience. I want to thank my advisor, Dr. Hassan, and all the amazing people in that advisory. I want to thank the stuffed animals on my bed that accompanied me through my loneliest nights. I want to thank all of you today for allowing me to share my experience and my own journey of seeking gratitude. And finally, to my grandma, whom I will never be able to appreciate enough, whose unconditional love shaped me in a way that words can never express. Grandma, thank you for everything that you have done. 阿布，谢谢阿能为我自为切，Thank you。